Hey guys, so back again with another video. Now in this video, I'll be showing you, a useful tool that can be used to gauge the performance of your machine, specifically between your laptop or your desktop computer. Now, just to have a basic understanding of what I'm running. So I have a very basic laptop. Is running an i5 8 Gen with a 1.60 gigahertz. And it is also Asus VivoBook S14 X430UF. Also running with a solid state drive. And it's a 64-bit processor. And that's basically it. It does have an internal or integrated graphics, and it does have NVIDIA graphics as well to help with video processing when it comes to the GPU. Now, let me just open it up. All right, so it's going to do some testing. We just let it go through that. You see where it gives you a little orbital display of the RAM, the processor, and if I can flip it over, the SSD, because I do have a solid state drive like I mentioned before in this laptop. So I'm not sure if it is a representation of what you have or if it's just a demo representation in terms of imagery. But I do have two RAMs. I do have a solid state drive. I do have, NVIDIA graphics. So it's doing that GPU test, doing another GPU test. As mentioned before, I'm not expecting any extraordinary results from this test because I do know my laptop isn't one of the highest performance. It's reasonably okay for what I need to be done on it, but in terms of it being top spec, nah. It has this application has a cute little, well, a neat little feature. Let me not say cute, where you can basically engage in some gameplay. So let's test out my shooting skills. All right, I need some red because red give you the most points. For the record, I got higher than this last time, but that's basically it. You see where it says down here that it has sent the results to userbenchmark.com. Now I'm just going to open that up. Oh wow. So this is actually worse than what was read before. So let me just show you what I had gotten before. So this was my previous ratings, right? Where the overall PC performance was below expectations, just like this one, but it wasn't as bad. But based on what you guys are running, it might be better, right? Um, yeah. There are certain things that can be done to alter the performance reading. So say for instance, in my case, I'm going the better one. I realize if I change the GPU to dedicate to the NVIDIA MX 130, the performance in terms of GPU benchmark would be greater um, when compared to the integrated graphics. When it comes to the i5 processor, there's not much I can be done about that, except for you can decrease different processes that run in the background. Because what I find is that, let me just open this, based on the CPU usage, it can affect the benchmark reading. So you would want to basically, end any um systems or any application process that is running in the background that can take up a lot of the memory. So 37%, 45.2 megabytes of memory. Something is using up a lot of the memory, and that can affect, and the processing, and that can affect how well the benchmark actually runs. Right now, benchmark is taking up the most of the processing, but there are other things that, like the Zoom, like what I'm recording with right now. So what I'm recording with can be taken out the processing, and some other applications like um Google Chrome, which takes up a lot of the memory, if you realize, might not be taking up a lot of processors, but it's taking up a lot of memory. Also with let me not go there. There are also some little audio processes that are taking up a lot of memory, which is what is taking in my voice right now. So there's a lot of things that can come into play in terms of your benchmark. So you will never have the most perfect environment, but you can end some of these to actually get a more desirable environment. And I'm sure if I could close some of these and run it again, there would be a difference in terms of the result. So another perk about this, it gives you recommendations as to what you can do to actually improve the performance. So this is telling me that I can ensure that the dual channel XML bias profile is enabled. However, for my device, this isn't available when it relates to the configurations. So it wouldn't apply to me, but it might apply to you based on the device that you're using. I'm not too sure as to why the SSD performed the way it did. Um, it, oh yes, so I think that there's something that was incomplete. So there might be a case where I need to run this as administrator to give it more access to the SSD. That's what I'm thinking, because it says relative performance not applicable, sequence bench incomplete. So I'm thinking that this might be a case. Could be wrong. That's basically it. So it's a useful tool, get you an idea of, you know, how well your PC is performing. And to be honest with you, I would, aside from knowing um firsthand based on the specs that my laptop isn't top tier, I would not be able to tell you that just by using it, because it has not let me down, because I do a lot of heavy stuff in terms of, I do graphics, I also do coding, when it relates to Visual Studio using C sharp, um, and sometimes Java. So yeah. And speaking of coding, if you guys want me to, do some videos on coding, feel free to let me know in the comments. All right, this is the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, and keep following me as I make more content. Thank you.